adventures in space. So it makes perfect sense that Star Wars, the magic of myth, has found a home at the National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. And that's where we find Star Wars creator George Lucas this morning, getting ready for the exhibit's grand opening coming up this week. Mr. Lucas, good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Congratulations on this exhibit. How long has it been in the works?
It's been in the works for almost 2 years, I think. It started out, obviously there's a book that goes along with it, so there's been a lot of creative research and things that have gone into the show that is more than just the costumes and the, and the artifacts from the film.
The Smithsonian also houses things like the ruby slippers from The Wizard of Oz and Archie Bunker's chair. So the fact that artifacts from the Star Wars trilogy are now part of this museum, does that mean that Star Wars is officially part of the cultural history of this country?
I guess so.
How excited are you about this?
Well, it's very exciting. I'm pleased that we're able to show off the design and all the hard creative work that a lot of the people who've worked on these films have put into it. There's a lot of creative design work that goes into a movie like Star Wars that most people take for granted because they just, it goes by so fast on the screen.
I see one of the costumes behind you, but there's much more to this exhibit. Can you tell me about some of the other things you've included?
Well, there's models. There's also a lot of paintings, production design drawings, storyboards, and obviously there's a lot of creatures and other kinds of prosthetic monsters and things that have been created for the films that are on display.
I understand there's also some artwork that depicts the mythology that you used as kind of a core of this story. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, the center, the theme of the piece is the mythology of Star Wars, and it relates the storytelling process that Star Wars is based on as it goes through history in terms of mythology in the whole history of mankind.
Mr. Lucas, take me back to the 1970s, if you will. When you walked into a movie studio or a movie executive's office and said, hey, I've got this idea for this movie called Star Wars, was it a difficult sell?
Generally, it was a difficult sell. Fortunately, about halfway through the process, my first film, or my second film, American Graffiti, came out and was very successful. So they began to say, we don't understand this movie you're doing, but we'll let you do it anyway.
So in other words, you got to make this movie because of the success of American Graffiti, not because people really were interested in a Star Wars type movie.
Right. It was, science fiction at that point was not what the studios were rushing to do. And it was really with part of the production drawings that Ralph McQuarrie did and things like that I think helped convince the studio to be able to see what it was I was trying to do.
And did you ever have a chance to make some of those executives who doubted you eat a little crow?
No, but the ones that helped me, I've obviously been very grateful to.
What do you want people to take away from the exhibit when they come to see it?
Well, hopefully it will make young people realize how much actual creative work goes into making a movie in the back room, so to speak. That there's a great deal of design work, a great deal of creative effort that goes in on a lot of different levels in making a movie, and it may inspire them to get more involved in design and art and those kinds of areas, hoping that maybe they can duplicate and express their own imaginations.
We all know that you re-released Star Wars, the trilogy, in the past year, and the response was enormous. You have 3 other Star Wars stories coming out. You call them the prequels. Where do you stand on those?
Well, we've finished shooting the first one. It's in post-production, and it will be for another 18 months. And then after that one comes out, we'll start on the next 2.
All right, George Lucas, good luck with the exhibit.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. 7:50.